yeah?
Yes.
It means the need to take this person who has committed a traffic offense, maybe he has jumped the lights or he has caused an obstruction, the need to drag that person to court is no longer there.
Because we have categorized the offenses, the
Yes.
administrative offenses.
Yes.
That are now instant fines.
Yes.
They are no longer criminal.
Yeah.
They are no longer police,
And court.
judiciary, DPP.
Correct.
We are only left with the serious ones.
Correct.
Causing death.
Yes.
And other serious traffic offenses. So we are dividing the administrative.
Correct.
And the administrative, if you look at the statistics, Your Excellency, are the majority.
They are the majority.
Actually, 70%, yes, are the administrative traffic offenses.
And they are the ones jamming our courts.
Yes, because even the road congestion and everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Davis, you don't need any other persuasion that we will solve this problem. The answer to this problem, 70%, is sitting with you. So within a month, we do the instant fines. And then we do the cameras. And then the instant fines immediately, okay? Within, because I have seen the pilot. The pilot have been done, all right? It was done. So, and very successful, you know? And we will raise a lot of money. Yeah. So you'll have a lot of money, Chief Justice, when when we just need to get the ministry to sort. So 70% of this big problem we are trying to solve here can be sorted out with just 2 interventions: instant fines and vehicle inspection. Things within our purview and our reach in months. So I am suggesting that we then have maybe a conversation around July at the NCAJ level, and maybe 2 months later, we can reconvene again and see where this has reached. I think let me leave it there and say congratulations to all of you. I want to appreciate all the actors. I know a lot of work has gone into this. Many hours of thinking and working together and creating synergy. And as I said, the template that you have established as a result of what was carried out as a pilot in the festive season of 2025 is a good template for us to use going into the future to solve now the balance of the 30% of the problem once we sort out the 70% with these 2 interventions. Asanteni sana, God bless you, and see you soon.
The gift of breath this morning, including the gift of health. Father, as we start this meeting this morning, Father, with the President of the Republic of Kenya and with members of the National Council on the Administration of Justice. We ask you, Father, to be in this presence. We ask you, Father, to give us grace. We ask you to give us wisdom, and we ask you, Lord, to give us understanding. Father, this is a rare opportunity where leaders of justice, the administration of justice, are here to discuss on a very important issue of life and justice. Lord, you say in Isaiah that the houses that we build, we shall live in them, and the things that we plant, we shall harvest. We ask you, Father, that we may harvest from this understanding and from this meeting this morning. We thank you and believe in Jesus' name, your Son.
Let us kindly take our seats. Your Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defence Forces, Honorable Justice Martha Koome, Chief Justice and Chair of the National Council on Administration of Justice, Cabinet and Principal Secretaries present, Governor Ahmed Abdullahi, COG Chair and Governor Wajir County, the Attorney General, the DPP, Chief Registrar of the Judiciary and Secretary of this Commission, the Inspector General of Police, the Commissioner General of Prisons, the Director General, Kenya Coast Guards, the Director Criminal Investigations, all council members present. Your Excellency, with your permission, allow me to usher in the CRJ, who's also the Secretary for this commission, to give a brief context of why we're here. We can welcome her with a clap. Tumpatie makofi akiingia. Karibu.
Your Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defence Forces, the Honorable Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, the members of the NCAJ Council, all invited guests. Your Excellency, the engagement this morning is with the council members of NCAJ. We have 38 council members from broad justice sector agencies. We have the judiciary, the security, prosecution, Office of the Attorney General, correctional services, transport, health, social services, law reform agencies, witness protection, and non-state actors. And because of time, allow me just to request them to stand up just for recognition, kindly, the council members who are present. Thank you, Your Excellency. You can have your seats. This is the first specialized NCAJ briefing to you on matters that touch on enhancing traffic management in Kenya, and also to address incidents of fatalities. The NCAJ had a special briefing in December on this special topic of traffic, and where they discussed matters, the rising traffic incidents during the festive season and ways to reduce road traffic accidents and related deaths. Thereafter, there was a report that was prepared to brief Your Excellency on the recommendations by the Council. And it is now my honor to invite the Honorable Chief Justice to present the report and recommendations and give her remarks. Kindly let us welcome her.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the Honorable Cabinet Secretaries present, my colleagues in the Council of the NCAJ, and all the invited guests this morning, good morning. We are honored, very, very honored, Your Excellency, by your invitation of NCAJ today to engage on this important issue of enhancing traffic management in Kenya so that we can address accidents and fatalities. Your Excellency, the Kenya justice sector, as the CRJ as stated, comprises both state and non-state institutions. These institutions are mandated to administer justice, uphold the rule of law, resolve disputes, and protect fundamental rights and freedoms. As a central governance pillar, this justice sector supports public order, responds to citizens' justice needs, and fosters socio-economic development. We use two symbols, Your Excellency. The symbol of justice, which is the scale, and the chain link, which reminds us that each one of us is holding a part of that chain link, and each is as the strongest as the weakest. So to enhance coordination and service delivery within the justice system, the National Council on Administration of Justice was established post-2010 Constitution under the Judicial Service Act, Cap 8A, and it provides a structured platform for sector-wide reforms because it was recognized that coordination and collaboration and partnership is critical in delivery of justice. None of us can succeed alone. We must work together and work with synergy. So the execution of this mandate is aimed at ensuring that the justice sector remains accountable and efficient and responsive in providing access to justice for the citizens. We realized when there are fatalities, accidents on the roads, it doesn't matter whether it is NTSA that has failed, whether it's the police that has failed, whether it's the prosecution or the courts, all of us as a country, we have failed our country. So within the NCAJ reform agenda, traffic justice reforms are central. They are driven by the need to address the persistent road traffic accidents and fatalities, as well as traffic congestion. The role of the justice sector in prevention, investigation, arrest, adjudication, and enforcement is central to achieving this objective. We particularly focus on prevention. Accordingly, these efforts are geared towards improving road safety, reducing mortality and morbidity, strengthening compliance with the traffic and other laws, and ensuring offender accountability. However, despite all the efforts that the sector has put and interventions, road traffic accidents and fatalities, Your Excellency, remain high. I'll give a glimpse of what we have gone through recently. For instance, the financial year 2024-2025, 62,932 traffic cases were filed in courts. This comprised careless driving at 704, causing death at 787, contravening insurance at 3,509, county traffic rules violations at 69, driving under the influence at 2,991, obstruction at 6,917, violations of required speed limits at 556, and other offenses at 47,400. A similar trend has been realized also in this current year, where we have already registered 33,532. We realize many of these traffic offenses can be dealt with administratively, which means they can be removed from the criminal aspect of traffic offenses and be dealt with administratively. I'll be coming to that shortly. But I also wish to give Your Excellency the cost of these accidents. We have the Ministry of Health here, represented by the Director General of Health. The Ministry of Health tells us, and also the CS Health this year, the Ministry of Health estimates annual health care costs attributable to road traffic accidents at approximately Kenya shillings 48.5 billion, including emergency services, hospitalization, surgery, rehabilitation, and long-term care. Additionally, the average cost of treating a road traffic accident victim is estimated to be about 69,000 for moderate injuries and Kenya shillings 147,000 for severe injuries, with an average admission of 10 to 24 days depending on severity. We have not even gone to look at the socio-economic costs of rehabilitating the victims of accidents and the time they lose from engaging in gainful work. During the 2025 festive season period, which attracted our attention, from the 16th December 2025 to 10th January 2026, we established 20 court stations to deal with the emergencies. A total of 1,978 traffic cases were filed during those 20 days and processed through multiple modalities. To support enforcement and prosecution efforts, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, the DPP, deployed 36 prosecutors. The EACC deployed 70 officers. The NTSA deployed 121 officers. In 2025, a total of 5,000 road traffic deaths were reported, 2025, compared to 4,448 in 2024, reflecting an increase of 261 fatalities. During the 2025 festive period alone, we recorded 415 deaths compared to 338 deaths in 2024 for the same festive season, that represented an increase of 77 deaths, or 23% increase. This rise occurred alongside a significant growth in registered motor vehicles. We saw an influx of registration of vehicles from 81,000 in 2024 to 182,000 in 2025, and motorcycles from 58,000 in 2024 to 150,000 in 2025. There has been exponential growth in registration of new motor vehicles on our roads in 1 year. So the aim of this engagement, Your Excellency, is against this backdrop that we at NCAJ are here today to engage with you on the need to, one, advance a whole government approach for addressing road traffic accidents and fatalities, also congestion on the road. We feel is a time we have a coordinated enforcement, adjudication, transport, and health services interventions across the relevant government agencies. We also felt the need, Your Excellency, to articulate before you the need for sustained high-level political leadership and seek executive commitment in prioritizing road safety as a crucial national concern that touches on governance, that touches on health and socio-economic development. Number 3, we felt we needed to mobilize an integrated and interportable ICT-based traffic case management system that links law enforcement, adjudication with the transport agencies. The need also to mobilize Your Excellency and the entire executive, the legislature, to support the enactment and amendment or operationalization of key statutory and regulatory instruments necessary for the effective investigation, prosecution, and adjudication of traffic offenses, and more importantly, prevention. Securing sustainable financial support to strengthen law enforcement and adjudication capacity in the justice sector. Your Excellencies, the following challenges affect the management of traffic, contributing to avoidable accidents and fatalities. The effectiveness of traffic enforcement and justice systems response is constrained by gaps in the legal framework. We are also limited by digital integration across institutions, resources and capacity limitation, and integrity challenges in investigation, prosecution, and adjudication. In addition, public conduct remains a significant concern, particularly the unruly behavior within the border sector. Political interference in the enforcement of traffic laws, especially in the management of border and PSVs, is a significant challenge. Moreover, inefficient emergency response systems in the aftermath of accidents weakens road safety outcomes and accountability. Persistent funding constraints also continue to hamper effective enforcement and operations. Specifically during the festive season of 2025, the following operational challenges were encountered: unreliable ICT infrastructure, including poor internet connectivity and frequent power outages. Your Excellency, we also had delays in case registration at some court stations arising from procedural steps in arrest, processing, statement recording, and resubmission of case files. Low attendance by accused persons, which undermined the effectiveness of virtual hearings. Incidents of bribery, which compromised enforcement and accountability. We also recorded unconducive working conditions characterized by inadequate office space because we were trying to set courts along the busy roads where we had no furniture or reliable electricity and limited basic social amenities for the officers. Non-compliance with traffic laws and guidelines by a significant number of road users, operational coordination gaps, particularly in communication, case management, and synchronization of enforcement with the prosecution, the courts, and the police. So therefore, we noted there are justice sector and justice sector reasons that cause road traffic accidents. because road safety in our country continues to be undermined by weak enforcement of traffic laws, corruption, lenient penalties, and poor coordination among institutions, alongside gaps in post-crash response and victim support. These systemic challenges are compounded by unsafe driver behavior, inadequate driver training and licensing, the use of unroadworthy vehicles and deficiencies in road infrastructure, factors that disproportionately endanger vulnerable road users such as pedestrians and motorcyclists or other drivers who are on the right lane. Further concerns include unruly operations within the matatu and the boda sectors, vandalized road infrastructure, inadequate dual carriageways on major roads, weak enforcement of pedestrian safety rules, and driver fatigue. So, Your Excellency, we have some recommendations. We require strong political and leadership support in the management of the bondas and PSVs. This should also entail supporting measures to enhance the observance of the rule of law, and Your Excellency, also to address the challenges affecting the youth, as manifested by emerging protests, especially at a time like this when we are nearing elections. Indeed, as the NCAJ, we convened a special council meeting in July last year in the wake of the public protests and unrest, and we gave the responsibility to the Kenya Law Reform Commission to lead in the legal reform efforts aimed at harmonizing public order management and freedom of assembly and protest. We also require a government-owned, integrated e-transport system linking the judiciary, NTSA, National Police Service, the Office of Director of Public Prosecutions, prisons, and other relevant institutions to be established. Already, we have an integrated system between the judiciary and the ODPP, and we are ready to onboard others. Because such a system, with unfettered access and the use by the aforementioned agencies, will enhance efficiency and accountability across the justice chains. The system should be supported by deepened digitization of the justice sector through provision of adequate ICT hardware, reliable internet, and interoperability of information systems of all actors in the justice chain to support the e-justice and e-justice service delivery. Your Excellency, we are calling for fast tracking of the amendment of the Traffic Act to support the use of technology in the administration of instant traffic fines for minor offenses and demerit points on diverse licenses. We also call upon the priority consideration of the Penal Code and Criminal Procedure Code amendment bills currently in the National Assembly, because those ones will strengthen the administration of justice and observance of the rule of law and maintenance of peace and security. We also call for operationalization of the National Road Safety Action Plan 2024-2028, especially the establishment of the multi-agency steering committee and the county transport and safety committees. We should include key justice sector players to enhance coordination and enforcement. The Social Health Authority through Emergency, Chronic, and Critical Illness Fund should also empanel ambulances across the country for timely response and access to life-saving services for accident victims. We are also calling upon the enactment of the NCAJ bill to support coordination and continuous reform of the administration of justice. Your Excellency, we feel NCAJ has outgrown the space provided and the JS Act, and it is time now. It's a baby that grows and walks on its own. 15 years being nurtured by JSC, NCAJ should have its own bill because this coordination is a huge mandate. The justice system is pivotal in ensuring reduction of crime, enhancing peace, and resolving commercial disputes, thus supporting entrepreneurship and investments, which are key ingredients for economic growth. This is why the NCAJ bill is urgent, because it touches on all the sectors of justice. It will provide adequate and sustainable financial support to NCAJ and the NCAJ committees on traffic reforms. It will facilitate continuous reforms, monitoring, and sector-wide coordination. Currently, the NCAJ is funded through a very small budget line from the judiciary, rather than through an independent allocation, and because of lack of funds, limits its operational autonomy and capacity to effectively drive justice sector reform. So we are calling also on strengthening of integrity and accountability mechanisms within the justice sector through increased support of the implementation of the Justice Sector Anti-Corruption Strategic Guiding Framework to curb corruption in the transport and other sectors and enhance integrity and accountability. This strategic guidance framework is the outcome of the Committee of Arms meeting Your Excellency convened in January 2024, where we resolved that the NCAJ takes the reins on the fight for integrity within the justice sector. Therefore, Your Excellency, the various agencies have the guiding framework for the fight against corruption, and they have all been mandated to cascade what is in the anti-corruption guiding framework and implement that guiding framework within their organizations. We are also calling for sustained public awareness. This work cannot be won by the government alone, or government institutions and other actors alone. We need a sustained public awareness and structured stakeholder engagement to enhance compliance and overall effectiveness. Finally, comprehensive road safety education and sustained awareness campaigns should be institutionalized, targeting schools, public service vehicles operators, boda operators, and the general public to foster long-term behavioral change and safer road use practices. Your Excellency, we always talk about budget, and sometimes I seem like a broken record when I speak about funding, but it is included by these actors that the entire sector receives an allocation of Kenya shillings 198 billion against the requirement of 337 billion, implying a funding gap of Kenya shillings 131 billion. Most importantly, Your Excellency, the justice sector agencies need infrastructure expansion the police stations, the prisons, the judiciary, or our infrastructure require strengthening. Adequate financing to enhance service delivery, including the provision of vehicles, motorbikes, computers, and other administrative utilities should also be prioritized. Further, owing to the expanded demand for services by the public, additional support is needed to facilitate the recruitment of additional prosecutors, state counsel, probation officers, and children officers. In conclusion, Your Excellency, we want to assure you that the NCAJ stands ready to lead and coordinate the justice sector and to respond in partnership with the executive and with the legislature to ensure that our laws are modern, our systems are interpolable, our enforcement is firm but fair, and our institutions are accountable. With strong political will, sustained investment, and collective responsibility, Kenya can significantly reduce road traffic fatalities and restore order and safety in our road. Thank you very much for listening, Your Excellency. I don't think we had an opportunity to hand over to you this anti-corruption strategic guiding framework for Kenya justice sector. And now that we are all here, allow me to present to Your Excellency a copy of this
Another round of applause for Chief Justice. Your Excellency, with your permission, allow me to now invite the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration, who will in turn invite you. Welcome, sir.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, Honorable Chief Justice, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Your Excellency, the Chief Justice has ably captured the report in relation to this sector. I had the privilege of serving in your administration. My first part as in the Ministry of Roads and Transport, and you very well guided us on what needs to be done on that part. And CS Davis and the team are continuing with the progress of ensuring that we raise private sector resources to support this sector. Your Excellency, as a matter of fact, there is an ongoing contract that is about to commence on this area to ensure that instant fining system is raises resources that can be able to support us. And most of the issues that have been raised by the Chief Justice will ably be addressed once that contract is underway. And I believe the resource gap that is really bothering us will be bridged. Your Excellency, we acknowledge truly what the Chief Justice said about integrity being a matter of great concern when it comes to enforcement. And the people of Kenya have been on our case, particularly the National Police Service, about collection of bribe by enforcement officers on the roads. We have no defense because it is the truth. It's not one of those things that you can stand here and defend, because the people of Kenya see it all the time in our roads. And in our discussion, the answer is digitization and digital enforcement. You have already guided us to have cameras under the C4 project in 6 cities in the country. Nairobi will be ably covered, and a number of the cities, including Mombasa. Again, having cameras all over the place will make sure that these officers are held into account. In addition, having instant fining system that does not require human intervention will make sure that the instances of corruption come down. Lastly, this report captures the most important part, which is the citizen or the driver or the person who's using the road or motorist. Your Excellency, civic campaign will really need to be done. It's inevitable that our behavior on the roads is contributing immensely, including drinking and driving, people driving anyhow, a very bad border culture that seems to have become now the norm. Border now are being used not just to cause road traffic accidents, but to carry out criminal gangs activities around our cities. The regulations in this sector needs a major campaign for people of Kenya to accept that it is important to follow the law, but also we need to engage in very thorough enforcement. And NPS is properly briefed on the need to have thorough enforcement in this sector. Your Excellency, with those few remarks, on behalf of my colleagues, it is now my singular duty and pleasure to invite Your Excellency to give us guidance and advice pursuant to this report. Welcome, Your Excellency, the President.
Thank you very much. Please, let's take our seats. Asanteni sana. Let me welcome you again to this morning brief. I appreciate that it's not very warm around here, but I think it keeps all of us awake. There was a bit of engagement from the birds around here, and I thought there was some distraction. But it is not about the birds, it's about the instructions that were given to them. I think the person who instructed the birds did not give them the correct time. Ladies and gentlemen, the safety of our people on our roads remain a matter of grave national concern. Despite sustained interventions over the years, road accidents and the injuries and loss of life they occasion continue to exert a heavy and unacceptable toll on our nation. Kenya records more than 4,000 road fatalities annually. Last year alone, 5,009 deaths were reported on our roads, an increase, as was said by the Chief Justice, of 261 compared to the year 2024. These accidents and their ensuing fatalities and injuries cost our economy an equivalent of 5% of our GDP, translating to an estimated Kenya shillings 450 billion annually. During the 2025 festive season alone, 415 deaths were recorded. Just imagine, a 23% increase from the previous year. I am, however, encouraged that deliberate steps are already being taken to confront this challenge, a multi-sectoral approach. And for the first time, a coordinated interagency traffic justice model was successfully piloted during the 2025-2026 festive season under the framework of the National Council on the Administration of Justice. This initiative brought together enforcement, prosecution, and adjudication in a unified and a structured manner. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to note that the interventions during the festive season yielded measurable gains. The deployment of 36 prosecutors, 40 officers from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, and 121 officers from the National Transport and Safety Authority significantly strengthened enforcement. As a result, fatalities involving public service vehicles declined by 10%, largely due to intensified oversight. This initiative has therefore established a viable and replicable national model for managing traffic offenses. Even so, emerging risks demand our urgent attention. Accidents involving private vehicles have increased relative to public service vehicles, and so have nighttime crashes involving long-distance trucks. Additionally, border-related accidents continue to pose a persistent and serious threat on our roads. The pilot showed the core drivers of road traffic accidents within the various sectors. Within the justice sector, key factors include weak enforcement, inadequate highway patrols, bribery across enforcement chain, lenient penalties that fail to deter offenders, poor interagency coordination, and gaps in post-crash response. Other major contributors include reckless driving, speeding and drunk driving, poor driver training, widespread unlicensed riding, unroadworthy vehicles, counterfeit spare parts, unsafe road signs, the high vulnerability of pedestrians and motorcyclists. Economic pressures on PSV operators are also contributing to risky behavior. The pilot further exposed critical weaknesses within the justice chain. These include persistent corruption and roadside bribery, delays in investigations and prosecutions, weak evidence management systems, digital gaps, inconsistent fines, absence of traffic-specific sentencing guidelines, limited capacity of the workforce, funding constraints, and weak enforcement of notices to attend courts. Operational challenges were also evident. Virtual courts achieved only 25% success rate due to connectivity and power limitations. Budget constraints affected the rollout of mobile courts. Case processing delays were noted between arrest and registration at the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. In some instances, agencies continued to operate in silos while public compliance with traffic rules remained low. Ladies and gentlemen, to decisively confront these challenges, the report sets out a comprehensive package of reforms that we must urgently give priority to stem the continued loss of life and injuries in our roads. First, on legal and policy reform, the report proposes that we amend the Traffic Act to respond to emerging risks. Key measures include the introduction of instant fines and a demerit point system for driving licenses, the standardization of driver training and licensing, and the fast-tracking of the National Council of Administration of Justice Bill. I think that's what the Chief Justice was saying, that it's now time that we have the NCAJ with its own statute that would help us coordinate better the actions of the different actors in this space. Second, on digital transformation, the report recommends the establishment of an integrated e-transport and traffic case management system, linking all relevant agencies. It also calls for the scaling up of automated ticketing, expanded deployment of CCTV and speed cameras, and the creation of a secure digital evidence management framework. Third, on police and integrity reforms, the report recommends the deployment of body-worn cameras for traffic officers, strengthened continuous vetting and integrity testing, enhanced anti-bribery mechanisms, and improved welfare, supervision, and working conditions for enforcement officers. Priority actions for non-justice sector agencies include fast-tracking the identification of black spots, particularly along the Northern Corridor and the Mombasa-Nairobi Highway. The report further calls for the adoption of safety by design principles in all new road projects and the expansion of pedestrian walkways, crossings, and dual carriageways. On vehicle and drivers, I note that the reports call for the strengthening of mandatory inspection of vehicles and motorcycles and the introduction of digital fatigue monitoring systems such as tachographs. It also recommends the requirement of defensive driver certification for PSV operators and the formalization of border-border operations through SACCO structures. Similarly, on emergency response, it is proposed that we establish additional trauma centers and ambulance response points along major highways, alongside the strengthening of the golden hour response framework to save more lives. The way forward, therefore, is clear. Sustained high-level political leadership is indispensable. Road safety must be pursued through a whole-of-government and a whole-of-society approach. Dedicated financing mechanisms, including the operationalization of the National Road Safety Fund, must now be prioritized. As a country, we have made an important step through coordinated enforcement and traffic codes. However, rising fatalities, systemic corruption risks, infrastructure gaps, and weak digital integration make it clear that road safety reform must now move from pilot phase to full national transformation. And while at it, I listened very carefully to the report that was made by the Chief Justice. And there are 2 or 3 fundamental things that come to my mind. To cut down on all the things that we have said, from weak enforcement, to bribery, to court attendance, to backlog in our courts. I agree with the report and with the Chief Justice that some of these traffic offenses need to be moved to the realm of administrative interventions. Part of the reason why it's easy to pay a bribe rather than go to court is because it takes so long to pay a legitimate fine, and therefore it encourages more people to instead pay the bribe. And therefore, we must make it much more painful to pay the bribe and make it much more easy to pay the legal fine. It is our responsibility. Because if the fine for a traffic offense is 1,000 shillings, and it means you spend a whole day in a courtroom waiting to pay the 1,000. You know, that's how we end up with the with the challenges that we have. We have read here that not many people even come to court, right? And the IG will tell you he has a long list of people who want to join the traffic department. Not because they are hardworking officers who want to assist us in any manner, but because of what is going on there. So I think we just must call it what it is. I have always wondered why we have taken forever Davis, the Ministry of Transport, and team. Why don't we enforce the instant fines program? Why haven't we rolled out the cameras on our roads? You know, it is just as simple as that. We have a new guy at NTSA. I hope he's here. Yes, we have this new guy at NTSA. It is my position, Waziri, that within the shortest time possible, let us roll out the cameras. We've been discussing this forever. You know? When can we have the cameras on the roads, Davis? You haven't answered my question, Davis. When? When? Let's cut it to the chase.
Because of the investors program, let's give it a maximum of
1 month.
1 month. Thank you.
It has to be 1 month.
Thank you,
I
Your
know
Excellency.
it can be done within 1 month.
We'll do it, Your Excellency.
So, when you leave this place, Bwana DG, go do what you have to do with the support of the minister and the Ministry of Transport. Rolling out the cameras is not rocket science. We've had cameras before on the roads. So let us roll out cameras in is it 5 or 6 major towns in Kenya in the next 1 month. And those cameras are already connected to the whole framework of instant fines. Is that correct? So that way, we will make it easy for us to do several things. Number one, we do not need to argue with offenders. The cameras will provide foolproof evidence that they are in breach. Number two, we do not have to go and bother the Chief Justice in court. The fine will be predetermined. When you have committed the offense, you will have a fine on your phone instantly. And the issue of us not having money will also end, because we'll be collecting money instantly. So we will solve all our problems in one shot. Okay? And then we can allow the Chief Justice to handle the serious cases of corruption and all the others. So there is absolutely, so two things that you must do. Let us implement the instant fines. Is the law in Parliament? The instant fines, is the instant fines regulations, are they already in place? Does anybody know? Pardon? They are in the minor traffic offences regulations.
Yes, minor traffic offences regulations.
Have they been adopted by Parliament?
Yes,
So,
in 2016.
so story finished. You know? So we have the law, we have the cameras. Let's just roll them out. So this would be my real, instead of us, you know, all this is a good story. But you see, let's just finish it. Because I remember there was a small controversy that was brought to my attention on the sharing of the fines between the Justice Department, the Police Department, and others, and NTSA and somebody else. And I think that was sorted out. If it is not sorted out, we should convene quickly, sort it out, so that we roll out this program. That does not mean to say all the other things that we have said in terms of making sure that we can attend to those who are injured. And my proposal is that I hope the instant fine framework provides that the more offenses you commit, the higher the fine every time. You know, I think if you are a first-time offender, if it is 1,000 shillings, when you commit the next offense within the same year, it should go to 2,000, like that, like that, like that, so that we finally, it becomes much more painful to breach the law than to obey the law. As it is now, it is easier to breach the law than to observe the law. Okay? So, if we can do that as of the timeline we have given, and then we can roll out the rest of on the highways and do all the other things that we are doing. I agree that we need a digital platform that is much more reliable than what we have at the moment. And I don't think that is, again, rocket science. I think we can put it together so that there is a digital system that brings all the actors into one space, and everybody can see in a transparent manner what is happening in which place, and we can all move in the same direction. This will also help us cut down on corruption. There would not be any need for the many traffic police on the road. We will cut down on we'll keep them to a bare minimum, because the cameras will do the job of the traffic policeman, and it will also do the job of the judiciary instantly. So I would propose, Madam C. Chair, as the chair of this great institution, that I agree with you on the matter of digitization, because it will sort out most of our problems. I have seen in all the other government interventions how digitization has reduced theft, corruption, and pilferage. Yeah, so if we can roll that out soonest. And then finally, one more thing. We have also been discussing forever again on the matter of vehicle inspection. You know, there needs to be a devolved traffic inspection mechanism that is simplified. I think NTSA again has been going back and forth on this matter. I want the Ministry of Transport, Waziri, you provide guidance on what needs to be done. In this era of digitization, working with the private sector, it should become a lot more easy for us to devolve that function, because it is a revenue-earning function. Therefore, a private-public partnership is the simplest, most efficient way of going in terms of vehicle inspection. Do you have a timeline?
In Kenya, I'll shortly be addressing the media on the new regulations that we've just published and on the PPP framework for inspection of motor vehicles. Rather than spend some 12 billion, Bwana PS, we are working on PPP framework to get the private sector to come in.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Why are we looking for 12 billion shillings to inspect vehicles using government money when the private sector can do it and give us revenue? That's PS. You know, I told you this before. So again, Davis, so are the regulations been done?
2 weeks ago, I published the regulations.
So they've not gone through
For
Parliament?
inspection of motor vehicles, all motor vehicles, not just
Yeah,
public
all of them.
vehicles.
Yes.
We publish regulation for drunken driving, and we publish regulation for use and order of using school vehicles so that we don't impair and interfere or cause harm to our children. Thank you.
So the regulations you have published will also take us all the way to getting a public-private engagement towards the inspection of both public and private vehicles. Is that correct?
That will be the only way to do, Your Excellency, because then motor vehicles have to be inspected in probably all the counties out there. They
Yes.
don't have to go to designated
Yes.
inspection centers.
Yes.
And because inspection of through PPP is a bankable business,
Correct.
the private sector is willing to invest in that space.
Correct. And we have so many people who are willing to work with government on motor vehicle inspection, you know, in a structured manner that makes sure that we are certain of the roadworthiness of every vehicle on the road, but without costing the public any money to do that exercise. That exercise can be done in different places by the private sector on revenue, and in the process, we will also get some money to do all these other things we want to do. Is that correct? One more question. When?
Because we've done the gazettement, Your Excellency, let's allow us to roll out the PPP framework for the private sector to develop. We are working very closely also with NTSA to set the threshold on who will be licensed and the rules to inspect vehicles. I'm told 1st of July. 1st of July.
1st of July.
Yes.
Bwana Deputy Comptroller, please put it in my diary so that I can call Davis on 1st of July to find out whether.
Rules, Your Excellency.
Eh?
We've gazetted.
No, I'm saying, but you know, 1st of July is when we will begin to implement the PPP framework. Is that right? Well, that's my understanding. Yes, Abu Bakar?
Dagai, Your Excellency, we're giving time for people to apply for licenses through NTSA. And
Licenses to do what?
To operate a motor vehicle inspection center.
Yes.
So that then we give time for at least 3 months for people to set up these inspection centers. So that will take a bit of some time.
Explain to me again, sorry.
I'm saying we are encouraging, the regulations are now in place. So we are going to license private actors to get this license through NTSA, depending on the zoning that they will be operating. And then they're going to build these inspection centers so that the inspection of the vehicles takes place. So we have put a cutout deadline of 1st of July.
By 1st of July, what will have happened?
Vehicles will be being inspected.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Yes.
So between now and 1st of July, you do everything else. So on 1st of July, there will be a place for every motor vehicle to be inspected.
The same for the use of telematics, for
Yes.
commercial service vehicles and
Yes.
school transportation.
So 1st of July.
Correct, Your Excellency.
So there is no variation, it's still 1st of July. Okay? So, okay, just those two, those two will reduce the problem we have here by 70%. Just those two things we do. We get the vehicle inspection right, which means we will have as few as possible unroadworthy vehicles on our roads. And then number two, we will also raise some revenue to give to all these other good people to do the other things they need to do. And then on this camera business, we will also consolidate and make it administrative. I don't know whether that was what you meant, Chief Justice. Yes. Mm.
So that we get from the police what they have recorded, the ODPP, to the judiciary, to the prisons, and on your dashboard, or my dashboard, I can be able to tell what is happening
Correct.
because of that system which is integrated.
Yes.
Yes. you
So
got it.
that's one. That the integration of the system is very good.
Yes.
What I was saying is, if we zero in on the space on instant fines, yeah,
Yes.
it means the need to take this person who has committed a traffic offense, maybe he has jumped the lights or he has caused an obstruction, the need to drag that person to court is
It's
not
no
there.
longer
Is
there.
no longer there.
Because we
At the-
have categorized the offenses, the
Yes.
administrative offenses.
Yes.
That are now instant fines.
Yes.
They are no longer criminal.
Yeah,
They are
and-
no longer police,
and court.
judiciary, DPP.
Correct.
We are only left with the serious ones.
Correct.
Causing death.
Yes.
And other serious traffic offenses. So we are dividing the administrative.
Correct.
And the administrative, if you look at the statistics, Your Excellency, are the majority.
They are the majority.
Actually, 70%, yes, are the administrative traffic offenses.
And they are the ones jamming our courts.
Yes, because even the road congestion and everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Davis, you don't need any other persuasion that we will solve this problem. The answer to this problem, 70%, is sitting with you. So within a month, we do the instant fines. And then we do the cameras. And then the instant fines immediately. Okay? Within, because I have seen the pilot. The pilot have been done. All right? It was done. So, and very successful. And we will raise a lot of money. Yeah. So you'll have a lot of money, Chief Justice, when when we just need to get the ministry to sort. So 70% of this big problem we are trying to solve here can be sorted out with just two interventions: instant fines and vehicle inspection. Things within our purview and our reach in months. So I am suggesting that we then have maybe a conversation around July at the NCAJ level, and maybe 2 months later we can reconvene again and see where this has reached. I think let me leave it there and say congratulations to all of you. I want to appreciate all the actors. I know a lot of work has gone into this, many hours of thinking and working together and creating synergy. And as I said, the template that you have established as a result of what was carried out as a pilot in the festive season of 2025 is a good template for us to use going into the future to solve now the balance of the 30% of the problem once we sort out the 70% with these two interventions. Asanteni sana, God bless you, and see you soon.
you.